how can private organizations tap into their security functions to improve their overall business?
I think it's, for me, even more important that security professionals, and myself included, engage with the business. Like, they're busy too, right? They're not going to have time to come to me. I need to go to them. I need to go to them on their playing field. And I need to ask questions and then listen. I don't need to try to sell them something. I don't need to try to sell them the importance of this. What I need to do is hear what their intentions are. What are their goals? What are their objectives? What do they see as the challenges? And then I need, in that listening process, to think about, how can I make that, I don't want to say easier, but how can I help them solve that challenge? Or how can I help them achieve that objective? And then it's about articulating that with them and getting that buy-in. And then I think we really start optimizing and changing the narrative that security is just a cost center. Yes, we support the business, but the costs are no more different than paying for insurance or paying for other business expenses that the company happily pays for.
What would you recommend to someone who's maybe earlier in their career, or maybe struggling with this, on how to approach the business?
I encourage them to get more involved in their communications programs. If you're a student still, I would tell people, you need to minor in communications. Like, you need to get a minor in communications, right? Understand what marketing is, understand the terminology of public relations, and get a comfort level into speaking, whether it's in a crowd or in a one-on-one conversation with the senior leader of an organization. Because when you engage with the business side of the house, you hear what their concerns are. You hear what their successes are. You hear what their failures are. And then you're understanding their side of the story. Senior security leaders cannot just sit in office spaces anymore and just send out emails. They need to be seen and heard actively, and not just in a way of telling someone, this is what you must do, right? I think sometimes security is looked at, we're the no people. You can't do that. You can't do that. We need to be I want to help you do what you want to do safely and securely.
How can employees outside the security function help secure the organization?
We need to understand that security culture is really about bringing security into the DNA of a business or an organization, of all aspects of the business and the organization, not just access into the compound. I know people will say, well, you have to have lots of security nowadays because of the complexity of cyber and everything else. And I would also often say, and have said to the chagrin of many executives, I don't want a large security team ever, because I want, let's say my company's 5,000 employees. I want 5,000 security people, because I want every employee within that company, because they make up the DNA of that company, to understand their responsibility and role for security. I think the part that's been missing for years is that we don't explain the why. We explain the what they have to do. We don't explain the why. Like, why do we want them to change their passwords every 3 months? Or why do we want them to put their ID badges away when they walk off of a compound when they're traveling, right? The why is important to people, because then they understand the part that they can control.